to time, talent comes along that has no equal. Talent truly on loan from you-know-who. Talent that makes you grateful you're alive. Of course, this is not one of those times.
It's The Lounge Show with Rob Scott and Bob Doyle, two veteran broadcasters who love to hear themselves talk and are somehow able to tolerate each other. Let's see if you can tolerate them as well. Here's Rob and Bob.
Bob's playing with toys again.
Now, see, I just 1 week. If you could just not mention it 1 week. We had the deal one time. I was bald the whole time. You didn't say it. Does.
Yeah, the bald was fine.
Don't judge. Some are fine and some are not by the Rob Scott standard. I don't have freedom of expression.
Yeah.
I don't tell you what shirts to wear. This is just another part of my outfit. Who am I, you might ask? Well, I'm Bob Doyle, and I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And that over there,
yeah,
is...
that would make me Rob Scott, and I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday.
And it's The Lounge Show.
That's right. That's what that means. When Billy Joel scribed those words all those years ago.
What about gin and tonic and an old man and everything else?
But it was basically...
He was thinking of the lounge.
It was, yes. I can't think of the word, but yeah, that's what he was doing.
So I see. So anyway, for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who, then that means you just accidentally stumbled here at this hour and time and place. But Bob and I are here every Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and it's The Lounge Show. And I noticed that 5 people today, when you put up when marketing, not Bob, but we have a market. When the marketing team put up the Lounge Show will be here tonight commercial, 5 people liked it. There were 5. 3 were love, 3 were the hearts, and 2 were just thumbs up. I was very impressed.
Okay, Kevin Underwood. So this is the timing of this is amazing because I was just mentioning it. Yes, and I was just thinking we've got to get Kevin on the show. I mean, we've had these other people who aren't Kevin. Right. And Kevin should have come before all of them because Kevin is OG Lounge.
He is Lounge OG. I mean, way OG. He was at the Litterbox Lounge. He was at the first manifestation of loungedom.
And
Kevin's been here. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go.
Well, I was just saying, Rob was playing some music before the show, and one of them was Blister in the Sun or whatever it is, right? The Violent Femmes, right? And I was saying that song is an instant time machine for me to basically our roommate, David Bennett, playing that song in the room that he shared with Kevin as a roommate real loud, and it was just like a big song that he liked. Now, I think I think that memory is accurate. Oh, here we go. We're going to get that little notification that says part of your video was muted due to copyright infringement.
Well, that was all of 3 seconds, but
feds are on the way.
Lad, you were telling me before the show that they don't send a cease and desist, right? They just some bot goes in there.
No, Facebook, just mutes what they think is copyrighted material, and that was happening on our show all of a sudden. Like it hadn't been doing it for months, and then suddenly, not just ours, but other things I was doing too. And I'm like, why? And I listened for where the obvious parts would be, like 9 o'clock on a Saturday, and that wasn't the part that was muted. So we'll see what happens.
I just wanted to speak. Now we'll go back for the test next week, and we'll see about what time it was. Like 4 minutes after the show opened, the lounge opened, and see if that gets clipped.
Yes, we will.
Anyway, so I was playing that for Bob, and then it brought back these great memories because that's what sound can do, boys and girls. It's a powerful medium, and Bob was transported back to his collegiate days.
And you opened this perfectly, as if we had planned it. But what I wrote down, I was writing something down before, so I wouldn't forget. But yes, we were talking about before the show, which is where all the magic happens. Face it. I mean, really, what we do when we're live is like, whatever. It's like a B-. But the A+ material is before and after the show. Am I right, Rob?
Yeah, you're right. That the green room, and then what do they call the room when shows are over? Like there is no place for people. I guess the bar,
the alleyway. Get your crap and get out.
Excuse me. Let me turn on.
And the cough button, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. He's actually making noise. Okay. Just a little behind the scenes there. All right. So anyway, we were talking about how music is transportive, and you were mentioning how your presentation that you did, which I think we talked about last week, right?
A little bit. It went well, and I talked about the power of sound.
The power of sound.
And Bob went, "Oh my gosh, I just went back to college and blah." I mean, you just a couple of notes from a song, and there you were thinking of Kevin, and he's talking about it. He goes, "I thinks of Dave whenever he hears that too." So look at that.
You're right. See, so I'm not a liar. But
no,
my point is, my point is, and I may have mentioned this to you before. I'm sure I must have. But my thesis in college was the psychology of music. So it was the same basic principle, but focused on music. And I did these tests with people. I had test subjects, and of course Kevin and David were convenient ones to have. But I remember his girlfriend was one. Anyway, I just did all these studies.
Did you do them like Dr. Brinkman? Was it those kind of tests?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of something, right?
It's a couple of squiggly lines. I don't know. I was just gonna say.
So, but anyway, yeah. So, but I found that cassette. Actually, it is labeled a copy of a copy of a copy of The Psychology of Sound. This. So I haven't even tried to listen to it yet because.
Can you play cassettes anymore in your world? Do you have a cassette player?
I have a little, cassette to USB converter, which I've never used for maybe one thing I've used it for. So, but I found, in going to Atlanta and going through stuff, I found a lot of old cassettes, and so we'll see.
Well, I would recommend that you get the alcohol in a cotton swab and clean the playback heads. I'm not kidding, because you're going to get maybe one chance.
Why are you talking to me like I've never ever used a cassette? An old one. I'm one of those who have cassettes with the tape wrapped around them, because one day I'm gonna get out that splicing block. I'm going to fix those things, and then I'm going to convert them to MP3 and have them all organized, so that when I die, my children can go delete.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's a complete waste of time.
Yeah. No, it isn't. It's kind of fun. I was really glad that my parents and my family had pictures of me and videos and so forth when you put together my 40th birthday. Was it 40 or 45? I forget.
It was 40, and Rob, number one on this sheet was that Tracy finally saw the Rob Scott True Hollywood Story. I found a folder on my hard drive called Bob Doyle DVD Collection, and it had that, most of the the extras. It didn't have the MP3 of my attempt at reading the Todd thing. So if you have that, that'd be awesome if you could send it to me.
I've got that here. I've got it here somewhere.
But I think that was the only MP3 thing. But the whole evolution of Jules and all this. But just to bring people up to speed. When Rob turned 40, which was a million freaking years ago, I was just getting into video editing, I think, and I don't even remember exactly what system I was using, but for his birthday. I remember
you using, it took you a while, didn't it?
Oh my God. As we were watching, I'm going, I can't even fathom that I took that on. And I was remembering, because what I did was I reached out to his family and stuff, and I said, hey, I'm doing this video. Can you send me, anything, videos, pictures, audio, whatever? And then your sister stepped up, and I got some stuff, and I just pieced it. And the whole premise was, there used to be a show called True Hollywood Story. Are you with me? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for what are you talking about? And so the whole premise of
the box of tapes, by the way. I'm sorry, I'm just watching that to see if anyone is with you. But yes, True Hollywood Story. Please continue. It was on the television network,
right? And so it was a big thing. And so the whole premise of this piece that I did for him, which ends up 15 minutes, was the True Hollywood Story about Rob Scott. And so using all this footage and stuff, I just made up a history. Like I don't know anything. I mean, I've heard stories, but we just pieced together a completely mostly fictitious storyline for him up until you had your kids, and that's true. But I think
it was a mockumentary, heavy accent on mock.
Yes, it was complete farce, parody. It was whatever, and I hadn't seen it in a really long time because I've been trying to find a working copy, and I wanted to show Tracy, but I'm really glad though that it's now. Like, she knows you more. Like, it would have been meaningless at the beginning to say, oh, this is my friend Rob, and that's this thing I did for him. There would be no connection.
That makes sense because
Yeah.
there's so much parody and there's so much folly, if you will. You're making fun of a lot of things. It's all right. And so had she might have gone, really? Why are you making fun of his
It
brother?
wouldn't.
And he's
Nothing
not
would
a
have landed
dog?
at all. Nothing would have landed
Right.
at all. I mean, I did have to explain the Kirk piece, and the
Okay,
intentional
but the
bad
quartet,
photoshopping and all
with
of
the
that.
quartet, my kids, and everything else, she could identify with those things. And she's
Exactly.
met a lot of those people, like at the wedding.
Yeah. And don't tape Magnum PI over it. Okay.
I like that.
It's good advice.
Good advice.
But yes.
So she liked it. So she liked it. And I'm not asking that because, did she like everything about me?
Right.
Because that's not what that project is about. It's about the work Bob put into it. And it is exceptionally, to this day, I could still contend, and you've made and produced and created many thousands of creative things.
But honestly, I'm with you. I don't think I've put that much effort into anything since then. I mean,
it just was the timing. I don't know. The planets aligned. You really were in a place where you really went out there with all this creative and juices, and you wrote around. You had video of people saying one thing, and then you wrote copy around fictitious stories about pictures from my college dorm and with the big hats and everything. You just really went to town.
And I have to say that Kirk, our friend Kirk, he was a part of the modern day interview talking about his past with Rob, which was totally made up because he didn't meet Rob until they were an adult. That there was this whole fictitious, but he killed it. I mean, you got to know Kirk, okay? But it was so perfectly done and
very dry sense of humor Kirk has. He's very witty. He's extremely witty guy.
Yeah,
and even at the he goes. That's so funny to me. That just tick 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 with his fingers.
Well, there is this whole.
Bob did outtakes at the end when the credits rolled. He really went to town, boys and girls. Bob really went to town.
We won't get too deep into the what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
It's a common word, but how it forecast, the future.
Oh, yes, it was prophetic.
Prophetic. Jesus, that was the word I could not come up with.
Well,
Prophecy.
I did. That's why we worked together. Yes, it was prophetic. Kirk said, their kids are, this was, we were against this from the start.
Yes.
That was the phrase he used. And yeah.
Actually, he said, no, we were against this from the end. And the beginning wasn't that much better either, or something like that.
Better either.
It was pure Kirk speak, It's
right.
And
so as it turns out, yes. I mean, we've discussed, I get along with my ex wonderfully. We have, it's a blessing is what it is, but we did not make the traditional run regarding our relationship. We've created a new set of rules for how we're going to continue on the planet.
The effort you were putting into wording this is just,
I thought I did pretty
very
good.
impressive.
Do I deep my back up like that? No, but I thought that was politically well done. I crafted that well.
See, not everybody has that skill set of just coming up with copy in the moment. Now, people like you and I do, but.
So I heard a joke the other day, and this was it's a Ralph type joke, and I said I should just tell Bob this joke. So the guy goes into the doctor and he says, my girlfriend is pregnant, and there's no way, because we safe sex and we always use 2 condoms, the whole thing. And he says, so it's impossible that she could be pregnant. And the doctor looks at him. He says, I'm going to tell you a story about a hunter. This hunter goes out and hunts lions every day, takes his rifle, goes out in the jungle, hunts lions. One day he gets up, and instead of grabbing his rifle, he grabbed his umbrella. And he's out in the jungle, and he comes face to face with a lion. And he pretends, he puts the umbrella up, and he goes, bang, and the lion falls dead on the ground. And the guy looks at the doctor and he goes, well, somebody else shot the lion. And he goes, now you understand. Next patient, please. I just thought, I was ready.
That's so funny. It made my nose grow.
It's a tolerable joke.
Rob, all of your jokes are. Why are you doing this?
You won't use it.
Why do you do this? You should be one of the most confident storytellers ever, and yet you still play this game of, you didn't like it. Well, I thought that was done. I thought that was done.
Well, I am a pretty confident storyteller, if truth be told.
All right.
I feel tolerably confident to tell a tale.
Tolerably. See, that's the. Okay. It's time for Rob's coaching session. Oh no, we can't do it because I don't have the theme song ready.
Oh, look at Facebook users here.
Yeah, well, that's Tracy, of
Excellent.
course. Rob rocks at
I know.
story time. Oh, Rob rocks at story time. She's clearly dictating.
Yes. Well,
Oh,
I kinda
wait. Oh,
like that
before it gets
story.
dark. Before it gets dark. Let's take a peek
yes.
over at the
Look at
lake.
that. Taking a look at live here, boys and girls, live shot of Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, just a stone's throw from the border, the Illinois-Wisconsin border.
That's one stone's throw.
I'm just whatever. And that look at there, the folks
What
are
is
out
with
there
your
on a Saturday
attitude?
night. What's wrong with my attitude?
You
I'm in a
said
good
whatever,
place.
but we don't. Whatever. Friends don't say whatever to each other, Rob.
The whole Roxanne Steve Martin thing. I can't even look. I'm just going to look over here and try to find a drop.
You know what?
He whopped me on the back and he says, "Buddy, have a drink."
There you go. He whopped me on the back.
Actually.
Okay, so in fact, speaking of that, hold on. No, just
hold it.
There. I have hold it. I'm going to do the screen savey share thing, and I want to show you this. I caught this picture last. I'm going to try to make it a little bigger here. I caught this picture last week. Okay, so here you can see the dates at the top. This is from July 4th, just a few days ago.
Alrighty.
And the folks are standing around. And as I glide over here, we can see the little blue light, and that would be the police boat. And then back here, where my little pointer is, this is like a tour boat. Folks are all there drinking and wait for it. Boom.
Fireworks very nice.
Right, folks. They were launching them off that barge there, right off of this boat here, and they're just shooting them in. And I just sat there with the screen capture button going boom, 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 and hoping one of them would turn out with fireworks in the air exploding.
Oh, you got to download yourself a screen recorder so you can just get the video of it, not have to.
Is that what I need? What's it called?
Just any kind of screen recorder so that you can, you kind of capture the video off your screen in real time for situations like that.
Anyway, I thought that was true because we talked about that last week. We had a shot of Lake Geneva, and we talked about watching the fireworks. And on July 4th, what was that, Monday? Yeah, this past Monday, 4th of July. Did you do anything? Did you have fun? Did the cat go nuts? People launching fireworks?
These are all good questions, Rob. Let me take them in order. I didn't do anything. I looked out the window and saw that from the office window or the window out in our little lounge area out there, looking down, you can see over some of the valley, basin, whatever. You see houses and stuff, and you just see lots of it's just fireworks boiling all the time, and then some shoot up. So you could see, something from here, but we did not go seeking them out this year. So.
Did you have neighbors who went and bought their illegal ones and were shooting them off in the cul-de-sac kind of thing?
You know what? We do not have cul-de-sac, and I'm kind of glad because that would probably make me nervous. But no, we don't. And we have this massive cul-de-sac. It would be perfect for that if we had some firework-loving individual to do that. But given how freaking dry and hot it is, I mean, it was 108 today, and I opened the back door and said nope, and that was it. Because and I just
Speaking of that, Salt Lake City was giving you a run for your money. It was at 101 when yours was about 109 today, like sometime this afternoon. I did not know Salt Lake City got that, but it's kind of desert-esque. Their humidity is low there too. I don't know anything about it. I still have to get out there and visit.
You check
Steven
Phoenix,
and then come by you on.
Phoenix gets hotter than
really?
us. Yeah.
But I think of that. I think of that as a desert. I don't think of Salt Lake but I don't know anything. I just think mountains when I think of Salt Lake. So I don't know.
Well,
but
I
anyway,
technically,
it's hot by you. So here's the thing: they were shooting them off here like crazy. Your cats and dogs would have went nuts. So, but I just smile. I go, it's 4th of July, and then thunder came in huge. And so the transition between fireworks
how fun.
and God's fireworks was really cool.
Oh man!
Because all of a sudden everyone stopped.
That's
really
like
cool.
perfection.
And I know you like lightning and thunder. I thought of you, and it was pouring, but it was a good summer rain, and it was So at the beginning of the lounge here, when we opened up the lounge tonight, you asked how the weather's been. It's been hot, upper 90s, and that 95 or 90% humidity. But we had some rain recently. Oh, got to tell you. So as you said at the beginning of the show, you said that we chat in the green room and then we chat afterward. Last week, when the lounge closed, you and I talked for a bit, And I said, I've got to go downstairs because I have a pork shoulder resting. I had done a
Right.
9-hour cook, and I was just boring Bob with another cooking story. And you said something I found really interesting. You said, I'm envious. And I thought, well, you don't say that very often. You go, that sounds nice. I'm sure it turned out great. No, you said, I'm envious. And when I went down there around 10:30 last Saturday and started chopping that up, and I must say, it's the best pork shoulder I've ever done, ever in the history of ever. And I wish you could have, I'm serious, I wish you could have been there just picking pork off of the cutting board. The new way that I'm doing it now, yay. In fact, I've had 2 good cooks now in the past 12 months. I did a great turkey at Thanksgiving and then last Saturday. And I feel pretty confident now about this whole barbecue thing. I'm finally because I'll cook for a company and everyone will say, this is nice, this is good. And I'll say, thank you. But when I'll eat it myself, I'll go, it's okay. But man, last Saturday. So from now on, I'm going to always bring it up every time. And if you say I'm envious, I'm going to have a good sneaking suspicion that it's going to be tasty.
Yeah, it's, I used to love to do that stuff, but it's not just the Tracy being a vegetarian part. That grill that's out part of the outdoor kitchen already. It's cool because it's outside, but it's a terrible grill. It's so uneven. There's no there's no way that I can see to disperse the flame. It's just this open thing. You can't use lava rocks or anything like that. So, but I've got my other grill that I had before that it's just been following me around. It just seems like, it's because I didn't have to use propane tanks or anything with this. It was just built right in. It was like, oh, I so want this to work. It's possible we could just find somebody who knows how to just, replace the grill in there or just get a different style of grill for that same. Is that grilled food?
Yeah, that's your steak on the grill. It's just
wow,
that sizzle.
That's the level of sound effect we are doing now. If we talk about steak, you've got it ready.
I hadn't played the sizzle sound effect in a while. But yeah, so you and I used to do a lot of grilling. That was a thing, Bob and I. That was one of the themes.
And smoking
with which,
meat.
Yes,
we
would. Right, we were into smokers before they became this big. Everyone buys a green egg or a Komodo Joe or whatever. Bob and I were getting those old. They looked like a bullet, like a pill. Was it black? Who made those? I forget who made those. It was just a black tube.
Yeah,
and it was our first kind.
Like charbroiler. I don't know.
Was it charbroiler?
No,
I don't know.
I can't remember.
No,
there were probably several of them. But yeah, just good old-fashioned smokers with a big water bowl and
right.
All of that stuff under there.
And we didn't know anything about smoking, but it just seemed like so cool. And we tried it. We did ribs and we tried to do chicken and
country-style ribs. That was
country-style ribs.
That was the first smoking stuff, and then chicken wings too.
Yeah,
and then finally
I think
ribs.
I tried to do a ham at Easter one. Yes, we did some ribs. And then Bob got a green egg, and we did.
This is all
got
pre.
A green egg.
Yeah,
this is pre green egg.
Yeah,
the green egg we did tons of different. We would do the whole 3 a.m. go and stoke the flames and everything.
The green egg was great. It was one of those things that we just had to go check every now and then. So when we were just done with being with
alcohol.
No, back in those days that was never a thing. Being done with it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that was just an all day until there was no more day.
We had no more energy, and then we just fell down.
Pretty much. And we woke up and said, a little hair of the dog ought to do the trick.
That's right. We looked for that, and we found a bottle of champagne out there in the Volkswagen.
Well, okay, that was one particular New Year's Eve. One of the most special. That's right, Kevin. That grill. The grill, newsflash. California's fallen into
in the ocean.
I had forgotten that Kevin, this is crazy that Kevin's on watching this particular one. But yeah, that grill that I was talking about that's followed me around is the one that Kevin and I put together when he visited me when I was in California, and we went and bought that grill. I can't remember about the buying of it. But the putting together of it, we time-lapsed it, I think. So I think there's a video of it somewhere being put together real super fast.
Sure there is.
Good times.
And Kevin was there. We bought that grill in Marina Del Rey.
So that is why.
Where you would send me pictures. You had a great view, as I recall, from that apartment.
I did. I did indeed, and some really cool time lapse of sunsets and sunrises that would happen. Really, really amazing.
How
there.
Fiddler on the Roof of you?
I don't think I ever once even had anything from Fiddler on the Roof going through my mind as I was filming those things,
You
because
just
I
said
really
sunrise,
wasn't
sunset.
on. Still didn't happen.
Yeah, because you don't like musicals.
Right, that's correct.
Lynn and I bought it. Look at it. So he went and bought it with Lynn. How about that? Okay, now things are coming into focus. Kevin's the man behind the curtain tonight. This is fun.
If that was true, like, and it could be like, but if that was the scenario, like somehow
Brinkman. It was
I got
called a Brinkman smoker. Brinkman.
Very good.
They were
Very
these
good. Okay.
black boobs, and yes, okay, that would have bothered me. Sorry, I interrupted you. Getting back to Kevin and your ex going to buy.
But if somehow I had gotten out of that journey and they went and did it, kudos to me. I don't know how I did that, if that is true. Like some good reason to not have to go to Home Depot or wherever we got it and brought it back. That's what I'm guessing.
So the one that came with the house you're in now, you're just not crazy about it, is what you're
No,
saying.
I want to love it so bad, but it's just so uneven, so unpredictable. It's you know what, Rob? It's got two temperatures.
Oh, just like so you bought it off my dad?
I'm telling you, this is what Ralph was talking about. To get a medium is so, and it just any little drip and it's a flame. Any little drip and it's a flame.
Yeah, okay. Boy, I know this is inside baseball, boys and girls, but that's a story. My dad he thought that the grill just had high and off in Lake Geneva, and my mom said maybe Rob and Bob can cook tonight, Ralph. And he brought us out there and he told us it
did.
I thought that we made some chops, if I'm not mistaken. They were marinated pork chops.
I believe you're right. Well. And grilled corn too, I think.
Absolutely. That's a staple there at the house in Indian Hills. And in fact, I had to make some grilled corn on Father's Day for my daughter and her and my
You
new
had
son-in-law.
to make some grilled corn?
No, that's good call. No, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I didn't have to do anything. In fact, I volunteered. But he never had seen the technique of putting the corn in a bucket of water before you grill it.
Oh yeah.
They still have the husks are still on the ears of corn, and you drop them in water for an hour or so, and then the husks don't burn. They're saturated a little, and they just steam inside that wonderful wrapping
Now,
paper.
do you do the peeling off and buttering and salt and pepper and then closing it back up?
No, I just drop them in water, and then they come off the grill They come off the grill, and we'll shuck them, and then there's butter and salt and pepper and everything at the table.
We've done it both ways. I loved. I mean, it's just a hassle and kind of messy to do it that way, but I like it. I mean, to just take it out and it's just ready to go.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I also like to do Mexican street corn on the grill too, where you do take the husks off and you put a char on the kernels, and then when you serve them up with, I want to say, mayonnaise, a little mayo, and some sort of cheese, and it's wonderful. I'd have to look it up. And
a real street food dealio.
Yeah, and and oh boy, that charred blistered kernels are tasty, man.
Speaking of street food, this is kind of a leap, I guess, but that New York trip that we talked about several weeks ago, where we're talking about,
yep,
it's happening.
Really?
It's happening. And that's like a couple of weeks. Tracy made it freaking happen by creating an event that she and I are going to both go up and speak on and get paid for, and our travel is covered.
Well, aren't you like winners of the dating game?
Look, Tracy is just a force of nature. That's what the deal is there. So, but anyway, so that there probably won't be a show that week, but I'll get some fun video or just depends on.
Well, when is this going to transpire?
This is at the end of July. This is just a couple of weeks from now.
Okay, so a couple of weeks from now,
and
boys and girls, no lie.
I think that the plan is to be there about a week. I don't know if I may come home earlier, just depending on what's going on, but because they're going to be doing Two Girls in New York. Now, how many? If it was a Venn diagram, stuff Bob Doyle likes, stuff two women in New York like, that little where they intersect. is what we'll probably try to cram in the first couple of days. Like, I'd like to go to Central
Yeah,
Park.
there's a lot of that. You know what that reminds me of? Like those two little Scotty dogs with the magnets on the bottom. There's a lot of polarization on those two plans. What Bob would do and like to do, and what the two ladies would like to do. There's not a lot of in the middle ground being.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real
sure
big, like the touristy stuff, like Empire State Building, but they've got a lot of shopping type of things,
I would imagine there's money to be spent on their itinerary.
And these two have endless amounts of energy. Like they would go all day, and I would be dead
That's what
halfway
endless
through.
means. If they have endless energy, that means it never
There you
ends.
go.
It's
See,
infinity
this is
energy.
infinity energy. Anyways.
It's like,
So that's so I'm not quite sure exactly how it's going to all play out, but it is happening. So and the Museum of Ice Cream. That's another thing I will definitely go see. If I don't,
maybe the M&M place too.
you know what? Screw M&Ms.
And with those words, Rob Scott and Bob Doyle brought the Lounge Show to another inauspicious close. Join us next week, won't you? 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for another edition of The Lounge Show.
You've been watching The Lounge Show with Rob Scott and Bob Doyle. Join us every Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and tell your friends and family to do the same. After all, we'd do it for you if you had a show. Probably.